think Virginia Tech does a good job creating an inclusive community for all cultures?
I know Virginia Tech is a very predominantly white college, and I don't know much about like places where minorities or others can interact with each other. So I do think it's sort of exclusive, and there's not much communication about where I can go for these kinds of places.
With the Black student demographic being so small, it is difficult to have initiatives set in place to represent Black culture within the community that will make students of other races interact with that culture and community. Clubs like the BSA and faculty are trying to respond to the lack of diversity awareness in order to create the environment that can utilize an increased enrollment of minority students in making a more positive learning and living environment. This project's intent is to evaluate the Black Student Alliance's success in promoting diversity through a variety of Black cultural awareness initiatives that foster an inclusive community for all cultures at Virginia Tech.
Do you know what the BSA is?
I know it stands for Black Student Alliance, but I'm not sure what they do.
The Black Student Alliance, better known as BSA, is a club that consists of members from undergrad to grad students. The last recorded number of members are 200. The main goal is to create a better understanding of different cultures and to create a community for people of all ethnicities. They try to achieve this through different events that showcase African American poets, authors, musicians, movies, and speakers. Most events are free to students, faculty, and staff, which allows most people at Virginia Tech to have the ability to attend the events.
So BSA's mission is bringing education through entertainment. So with the Human Relations Council, that is what BSA was formerly known as. It was an organization started by, it was meant for all types of people. Like race wasn't it wasn't based off of race, so it just wasn't Black people. So the organization, what it wanted to do was bring people from different ethnicities and races to form like a coalition organization between all of them. But what happened was that only Black people, came to the events, and only Black people were interested in the organization and wanted to be a part of it. So that's when it merged over to being the Black Student Alliance.
The other organizations didn't want to work with the Human Relations Council because it was primarily Black people.
But that wasn't what it was meant to be. It was supposed to be all different types of people, but it was just veered towards Black people in the end.
The main mission, vision of BSA overall is to kind of educate the greater Virginia Tech campus about Black culture, and to do that through edutainment, which has always been something that we've always lived by. It's almost like our motto, just educating people through entertainment, whether that be a concert, a speaker, a movie, anything, just to promote Black culture.
Or even a general body meeting, just basically making sure we get the community to come together and provide a safe space for them to come and be Black.
In order to start a club at Virginia Tech, the organization must have a minimum of 5 student members consisting of a president, treasurer, and 3 additional members or officers. The majority of members who join the organization must be enrolled or part-time students on the Blacksburg campus. The organization members cannot receive any personal financial gain from the organization, nor represent itself or themselves as official agents of Virginia Tech. Since the BSA is a club organization, it has some restrictions on what it is and is not allowed to do regarding advertising in media display. For example, in advertising and media display, ratings and the sponsor must be visible and indicated to all viewers. Also, any sponsoring organization will be responsible for verifying student identification at the door, if applicable. These rules and regulations, although small, can sometimes place restrictions on what the club can and cannot do.
We've done several things. So, for example, we had a play come last year, I believe. It was Platanos and Collard Greens. So it was a play about, I believe it was a black male and a Hispanic woman in a relationship. So like we do try to touch on like other cultures too that aren't as represented on our campus, and we try to do collaborations with some of them. So it's not necessarily only about black people, and like we're not opposed to having other things, but our mission is to promote black culture, and our programs have to follow by our mission. Yeah. Me specifically, being the director of PR, like I'm on Twitter, on social media, so anything we do like gets put in that greater sphere, so more people, you know, are on social media. So I feel like getting our name out there, spreading the word about stuff is a lot easier to do on social media, which is what I mainly do. So I think we do a good job of trying to get our flyer seen, event seen, anything just seen on social media. I think that's my role. That's what I do. So because, like I said, like as a UCSO, we have to follow our mission. We do maybe advertise more to the black community, but that's also because that's where a lot of our reach just extends to. We don't have a lot of interest from other communities on campus, but I will say that sometimes when we post like general event information on Facebook or Twitter, we'll have very diverse groups of people coming to our events saying, oh, like I didn't know if I could come to your event because I'm not black. Like, no, anybody can come to our event. And I really like seeing different faces in the crowd. It just makes me feel like I'm teaching other cultures about our culture. And so I really do enjoy having other people of race, ethnicity, whatever, come to our events.
And as director of outreach, I make sure we reach out to the greater Virginia Tech community, so not necessarily just like the black community, but making sure we reach out with like VTU or LASSO or Active Minds. I just try to make sure that we really capitalize on the A of BSA, which stands for Alliance. So I just want to make sure we align ourselves with other organizations just to make sure our turnout's really good and to make sure we're servicing all of Virginia Tech.
Have you been to any BSA events?
I have been to some BSA events. I went to the BSA party, and that was really fun, and I went to BSA movie night, and that was fun too.
Okay, so what kind do you think the BSA actions promote diversity within the VT community?
I do think they promote diversity, but I think they could do a better job if they were more well advertised so people knew when their events were.
BSA's slogan is edutainment, which means educating through entertainment. BSA puts on many special events for minority students to engage with others. Many of these events include movie nights, games, food, and lots of fun. Students from all races are encouraged to attend and join in on the fun. Studies show African Americans have greater comfort level with informal cross-racial interactions. According to Daniel Soloranzo and other various authors of the critical race theory who studied racial microaggressions and the racial climate on college campuses, African American students indicated discomfort particularly when interacting with white students in more intimate contexts. Social activities like the one sponsored by BSA create opportunities for positive, diverse interaction. Although the BSA's main purpose is to make an inclusive environment for all ethnicities, many times they run into problems getting people involved with their mission.
So our mission is to bring awareness and education to our campus on black culture. So we do that through entertainment. So one of our old mottos was edutainment, education through entertainment. So we bring acts, speakers, films, all types of events to bring the community together while they're like learning about black culture. One challenge is, like I said, we are very limited in our reach. So sometimes I feel like I don't get to fulfill my duties the way I want to. So I really enjoy having people come to our meetings, but sometimes it's the same students coming. I want to meet more students. I know there's more students on campus. I want to reach out to them and find them, but how do I get to them? How do I find them? And then some people just aren't interested, you know, and that's okay. But like, I think if everyone could come to at least one BSA meeting, I feel like I would be ecstatic.
A lot of the ideas have to come from me. Like, I have to be very creative in my like process, and like that's somewhere that I struggle personally. But so like other directors, they're allowed to just like literally reach out to like a booking agent. They know what kind of services that their performers would provide, and so they just book them, and like that could be the end of their process. Whereas I have to think about, okay, like what does the community want to see? Well, not to say that they don't, but like what does the community want to see? Like how can I make that happen for them? What kind of events could I put on to like make it to where I'm satisfying the desires of like the community. So, do they want like a forum where we can talk about whatever? Would they rather have a speaker come and talk about something? What kind of events could I do to like get people more involved, like on their everyday? Like, how could I enhance like someone crossing the drill with Black culture awareness? Like, so sometimes like I'm a little like stifled creatively wise, so I have to think about what people actually really want to see and like how I can go about that. So that's like a difficulty for me. During general body meetings, I can just ask around like, what kind of things do you guys want to talk about? Is there anything on your chest you want to get off? So I usually just go to the community because like it's not always about what I want to see. Like I program the events where I'm just like, well, I really want to bring this person because I think that would be an awesome experience for me. And so like I've learned that necessarily like you can't always program like that. You can't be self-centered. You have to think about what people actually want to talk about when they want to see it. Like, but also you have to remember what's like best for students to see. Like we don't ever talk about Black professionalism, so like that's something that I want to talk about next semester. Or just like what social conscientiousness is actually about, instead of like all these just hashtag people in these social justice warriors on Twitter. Like what does it actually mean to be socially conscious, and like what can you do to like improve your community and like improve the like living quality of people around you. So it's all about just like, okay, like I see what y'all want to see, like, but this is what I kind of want to, like, this is my vision, this is my program, so I have to integrate those two ideas, and like then that's what I present in my like whatever.
Our main job is to bring the large programs and showcases to Virginia Tech. So we program the comedy shows and like the spring and fall concerts. With that, our main goal is to bring a big name performer, a big name comedian act that does showcase African American culture and Black art in some type of way.
And that's not to say that we only bring Black people to campus. It's just that's more so what we lean towards to fill a void that we see not being filled by other orgs.
Yes.
And we host events. We do novelties such as like we just did exam packs where we handed out like Red Bulls and pens and pencils and mints and stuff like that to help students get through exams.
Because ain't nobody got you like BSA got you.
The general body is open to any and every Virginia Tech student. So like any meeting we have is a chance just to come and like get familiar with us, get to know what we do, get to know our mission, anything. So like when we do have our general body meetings, that's where we're getting ideas from everybody else, or kind of catching people up to speed on what we're doing, but we really want to get input from everybody else. So since it's open to everybody, it would be awesome if like other people from other communities at Virginia Tech could come and we could get ideas from people, like we could work on collaborations. It's more like just an open, like almost an open forum for us to talk to everybody else and see where they're at and kind of catch them up where we're at.
And a lot of time at general body meetings is when people ask how they can get more involved with BSA. So that's just their opportunity to reach out to us and figure out how they can help out with the community. If we have any volunteer events coming up, or like any events in general that they can like help out with, that's when they find out about it at general body meetings.
So as vice president, one of my like biggest jobs is like planning our general body meetings and things that the general body does. I think that's very important because since we're only about less than 4% of Black kids on campus, I have to like work really hard to try to figure out, okay, how can I get the Black students to come to our meetings? What will they find effective? What will they find fun? How do they socialize and meet new people? And I think it's very important with freshmen when they come into the campus, because sometimes they feel so isolated because they don't see people that look like them. So I think the freshmen are like my biggest target, trying to like see, well, how can we make you feel comfortable in our community? And as vice president, I think that's what I take pride in the most. I really enjoy like seeing people later on. I had a student tell me that they were going to transfer from Virginia Tech when they first came here until they came to some BSA events and they finally felt like they found home. And now they're on BSA exec, so I really take pride in that, and I really, that's my favorite thing about BSA and my role.
Well, for me, I volunteered with BSA during the Waka Flocka and Race Rumor concert. So that was that fall or spring? Yeah, the homecoming show. So during the fall, I was just a general body member, then I was on street team for the concert. So after volunteering with them, I was like, I really like this organization, and I just want to get more involved with it.
Same. I didn't volunteer with the homecoming show, but I was in the general body, and I was on one of the committees, and we went to a lot of their events, me and my roommate, and I got to know them, and I really liked them, and I wanted to figure out how to get more involved. So when they sent out applications in the spring for new members, I applied.
Do you think the BSA creates an inclusive climate for all officers?
That's kind of a yes and no answer, because if you hear about it, then there's no cutoff. Oh, you can't come. But once you enter the atmosphere, little cliques form, and then that's not inclusive at all.
So, do you have any suggestions of what they could do differently?
Yes, more advertising off of social media, like more word of mouth and flyers and things, because not everybody has social media, and just being more vocal in that aspect will create more people, and I feel like with more people there will be less cliques.
Is the BSA effectively fostering their vision for a more diverse and inclusive community? Yes and no. It is definitely creating a community for African Americans, but they are still struggling with involvement in building a community for all ethnicities at Virginia Tech. What is at stake if everything remains the same? African Americans and minority students will turn away from this college campus because they will feel like they do not belong here. The social environments of higher education, as well as the academic work here, are monocultural, monodisciplinary, and monolingual because teachers do not integrate diversity into the learning environment. Intercultural learning will change students' thoughts and behaviors to be more understanding of one another. A learning environment that fails to embrace diversity results in microaggressions as well as other actions that result in students feeling invisible and trivialized. Black students talk about a lack of diversity awareness creates an environment where they question their ability to succeed and their importance in the classroom.